This story was sent to us by Sandeep from the USA. He tells us, though originally from India, he's been driving trucks across the United States for many years. And in those years, he's crossed all kinds of roads, through icy mountains, through deep, silent forests, through seasons that feel like they don't belong to this world. But one night, something happened that he says he can never forget. Sandeep says, I stopped my truck to rest, parked it, closed the windshield and side windows with sheets. It had started snowing outside. Heavy snow. I turned off the truck lights and laid down in the cabin just for a short nap. And that's when I heard it. The sound of footsteps on snow. Someone or something walking right outside my truck. The sound got closer and closer. If you've ever followed my old channel, you'd know I used to share intense trucker stories, real ones. This one is on the same level. Listen till the end, because this one will hook you deep. But before we start, quick question. Some folks have told me they can't see the like button below, just the subscribe and like icons. Can you see it? If you can, why not click it? It means the world to your brother right here. Go on, tap like. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hey, it's right there. Hit it. Because I promise, the kind of stories I'm about to bring on this channel, you won't want to miss. Let's begin. My name is Sandeep. I'm from India. And I've been driving trucks in the US for about 8 years now. In all those years, one incident still haunts me. It started like any other trip. I took the truck out from my logistics company. I had 2 trailers hitched. My route took me through forests, valleys, and mountains. I was on schedule, moving steadily. I'd already left the city behind. It was bitter cold, so cold that I kept the truck's heater running constantly, and I was all alone on the road. The truck, a beast, fully automatic, so advanced that drivers are mostly just passengers. Back to the point. The journey ahead was long, a full day and night of travel. On the way, you find motels, like roadside dhabas back in India or Pakistan. Normally, I'd stop there to freshen up or grab a bite. But honestly, I didn't stop much. Being Indian, I craved spicy, flavorful food, and the bland roadside stuff never appealed to me. So I kept my own supplies, enough food and water for the road. Often, I'd pull over somewhere beautiful, scenic views, snowy forests, and cook my own food inside the truck. That was my little joy, blending my passion for travel with the grind of the job. On this night, after a full day of driving, I entered a zone buried in snow. The snow was falling harder now. The truck moved slow, real slow. Luckily, our trucks had trackers. The company followed us in real time, including weather updates, so nobody checked in constantly. They knew what we were facing. Though we were just drivers, we handled those trucks like we owned them. The company trusted us. Now night had fully fallen. Snow was still falling, thick and constant. And the snowfall was messing with visibility. Even the headlights couldn't pierce the white fog. I was exhausted. I spotted a clear area, not much, just space to park, and decided to stop. I thought, let me eat something, then I'll rest a bit. I covered the front windshield and side windows with curtain-like sheets. Now the truck's cabin was sealed tight. From outside, no one could see in. From inside, I couldn't see out. I boiled some water. Too tired to cook anything else, I decided to make Maggi noodles. turned the truck off, let the silence take over, started eating. Here's something you should know. The place I stopped, it was deep forest, completely covered in snow. A regular person would be terrified to spend a night there. But me, I was used to it. Not bragging, just being honest. In fact, once my truck broke down in a similar forest. I spent 48 hours alone, trapped, before I was rescued. And that place? It was even scarier. But I survived it. While I lay on the back seat of my truck, resting after a bowl of Maggie, I thought maybe I'd get a few minutes of peace. The snow outside had blanketed everything into such silence that even the tiniest sound would echo like a scream. The stillness was absolute. I couldn't sleep. I only had 1 hour before I had to move the truck because snow kept falling, and if I waited too long, I'd be stuck. I switched off the cabin lights and stared at my phone when suddenly I felt it, like someone walking on snow. Soft crunching, far off, but slowly approaching. At first, I didn't want to believe it. Maybe it was the wind or my tired brain playing games. But no, the sound was real. Footsteps, steady, deliberate, coming closer. In this dense forest, where I knew, without a doubt, there was no population for miles. Who could it be? And more terrifying than the sound was the silence that followed. The footsteps reached my cabin and then stopped, right next to me. I froze. I didn't move. I didn't even breathe. I had closed the curtains. From inside, I couldn't see out, and from outside, no one could see me. But I could feel them, just inches away from my locked door. Time passed, slow, torturous. Maybe, I thought, whoever it was saw the lights off and left. But then, I heard nothing. No retreating steps, no sound of walking away. Just silence. 15 to 20 minutes passed. Then, the door handle. Someone was trying to open it, soft at first, then with force. But I had locked it from the inside. My heart pounded in my throat. No human could stand that still, in such deadly cold, for this long. And yet, they did. I sat, frozen, helpless. Eventually, whoever it was gave up. And then again, footsteps, walking across the snow, from the driver's side to the other door. Now they were trying that lock. Again, pressure. Again, shaking. Again, the terrifying silence. No voices, no knocks, just this slow, deliberate test of both doors. I could feel them outside, standing there, not moving, not leaving. I wasn't alone, but it wasn't over yet, because soon I heard more footsteps, 2 more, coming from afar, walking through the snow. Now 3 of them stood near my truck. I still couldn't see them, but I could hear them speak in strange, unnatural whispers. Their language made no sense. It didn't sound human, but something was clear. There were 3 of them now. A man, a woman, and a child. And what chilled me even deeper, they were not leaving. They were planning something. Their language. It made no sense to me. But what I could gather, there was a man, a woman, and a boy, barely 12 years old. For a moment, I thought about opening the door. Maybe they were just lost. Maybe they needed help. But then again, how could they survive in this bone-cracking cold, just standing there? I slowly sat up, moved toward the curtain, just enough to peek without revealing myself. And as I looked out, there was no one there. Not a soul in sight. And eerily, the moment I looked out, their voices stopped. Just like that. Vanished. My heart pounding. I couldn't describe what I was feeling, only that I was this close to death. I laid back down, waiting for their next move. An hour had passed. I hadn't rested at all. Fear had lit a storm inside me. Then I heard it. Their footsteps, moving away from the truck. Not too far, just ahead. I saw a chance. I made a plan. I'd jump to the driver's seat, rip the curtain aside, start the truck, and get out of here. Fast. Because if I waited any longer, the snow would trap me. And staying here was no longer an option. I moved, pulled the curtain, started the engine. Headlights cut through the darkness, and in that pale beam, I saw them again. 3 figures. But I didn't look. I didn't want to look. I shoved the truck into gear, but the tires spun. We were stuck. I pressed harder. The engine roared, and then they turned and began walking toward me, slow, deliberate, now fully lit by the headlights. The man, the woman, the child. But they weren't people. They were corpses, decayed, rotten, blood frozen on their mouths, their faces twisted into something inhuman. Still, they came, and just when they reached the edge of my truck, the wheels gripped, the truck jerked forward, and I drove. Right past them. For a moment, our eyes met, and the child raised his hand and waved. I kept going, far from that place. But they stood still, watching me vanish into the snow. No anger, no screams, just silence. But the nightmare wasn't over. Visibility was near zero. A sheet of black ice sent my truck skidding off the road and stuck again. This time, worse. I tried to free the wheels, but nothing worked. So I called my base via walkie-talkie. They tracked my location on the system. There was a workshop 5 kilometers east, they said, but they couldn't reach it. They asked me to go there on foot. The cold was unbearable. But if I stayed, the snowfall would bury me. I geared up. Jacket, torch, walkie. And stepped out into the frozen dark, back into the same direction I had just escaped from. The place where I had seen them. As I walked, I saw something that froze my soul again. Footprints. The same 3 sets, heading in the same direction as me. I followed the prints, one step at a time. Half an hour passed. My walkie kept me connected with base. They confirmed I was going the right way. And then, through the trees, a house. Old, abandoned looking, deep in the forest. The footprints led inside. I stopped following openly. I crouched, hid behind trees, and crept closer. The house was ancient, a relic from another time. I snuck up to a window, careful not to make a sound. Inside, empty. But the fireplace was lit, still burning. Someone had just been there. I peeked through another window. Nothing. Then, slowly, I made my way to the front door. and ever so carefully, I reached for the handle and opened it. The door creaked open. I slipped inside, slow and silent, like a shadow. Room by room, I crept, empty. But then I made a mistake. I had forgotten my walkie-talkie. The volume was at full blast. Suddenly, calling Sandeep. Sandeep, why did you stop at this location? Are you okay? Respond. The voice echoed through the empty house. Then, a dog barked outside, loud, aggressive. Someone was coming. I dove into a storage room, found a corner where I could just barely peek out into the main room. And then, they entered, the family, the same rotten-faced trio. They sniffed the air, speaking in that strange, ghostly tongue, their eyes wide open, unblinking, as if they could smell me. The child moved closer, step by step, straight toward my hiding spot. Now all three were standing just outside the storage door. I could feel my heart slam against my ribs. They knew someone was in here. I looked around desperately. There, a small glass window. I grabbed something, anything heavy, I didn't know what, and smashed the glass. I leapt out through the broken pane, landing hard on the snow outside. But I wasn't alone. That same dog, now right behind me, barking violently, charging. I ran. Uphill, through snow and breathless panic. After what felt like 15 to 20 minutes, I reached a small road, probably made by local villagers. I contacted base. They told me there were some houses nearby, a workshop, a tire shop, even a motel. I walked to the nearest home and knocked. Inside, a family greeted me, a father, his son, and their daughters. All worked the nearby workshop. Seeing my condition, they offered me coffee. In that kind of cold, how could I say no? Then they asked why I looked so shaken. I told them everything, and they looked at me, pale, serious. You went into that house? The father said. That house is haunted. No one goes there, not even us. They explained, back in 1915, that house belonged to a family. One stormy night, a group of bandits broke in and murdered them all. Since then, their spirits had been seen wandering the highway, a man, a woman, and their child, but they never speak. They just appear, looking for help. The family drove me back to my truck. It took nearly 35 minutes. They saw the snow-covered vehicle and helped pull it free. Before I left, I thanked them, truly. And then, I took a photo. Back then, I carried a Polaroid-style camera. Click. The picture printed instantly. But when I looked at that photo, I froze. My blood ran cold, because in that photo, behind me were three shadows, faint, blurred, but there, watching me, even now. I don't know how I survived that night, but I know this. They were real. Not a dream, not a glitch. And if you're still watching, that wasn't even my scariest story. Because once, I was trapped in a jungle for 48 hours. And that horror, I'll share with you next time. Only if you're brave enough to ask for it.